a lot of you guys are right now ensconced under the cover of darkness. But good to have you with us for this edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And by the magic of Jack Namer and the great people here at Ion Channel, IonChannel.com. I don't know why people can't figure this out. Do you get the same reaction? Let me introduce the crew to you, too. Because here he is, and now living proof, because we have the overhead cam working on this gentleman here. And, people have compared his good looks on camera to Dennis Farina, a very handsome guy, especially when he was younger. And, of course, Ricardo Montalban often is a reference used in conjunction with the Polyman. But the man with the television hair, eclipsing that of even Teddy Bruschi at this point. The Polyman Paul Masel with us here. And always an adventure, Polyman. You had another psychotic episode this morning, but it's good to have you on the show. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you, my friend.
I was around 60 to 1 to make it on time. For all my faults, which are many, I'm never late. I'm never late for anything, but just slipped under the wire today.
Yeah, and usually if you say you're going to be somewhere, you're definitely going to be there. And whenever you say you're 100% in on the show, I usually get that call about 10 o'clock at night when we were doing the show on Saturday, and Polyman would say, I'm 100% in. And then I'd be on my way down to Hialeah Park to do the program, and of course the phone would ring, and it was like, I'm 100% out. When the lights go out in the city. But good to have you here, Polyman. You're looking good. You look like a young man, a young Polyman, representing Harvey Puckett out there at Calder Racecourse. What was that, circa 40 years ago, my friend?
40 years ago, 1981.
All right, very good. And Dave Gurgles Gurgley joins us here out in front of our casino shot of Hialeah Park. By the way, the doors to the casino will open up right behind us at 9 a.m.
Beautiful.
So you can roll right in there. Steve Calibro has these machines calibrated to the point where you almost can't lose, right? I mean, if you walk out of there and you lost money, just come back the next day, and like you have that same attitude at the racetrack after you take a hammer and go, I'll go get him tomorrow. And that's the way you can feel at the Hialeah Park Casino. But David, good to have you here. You are much more Magellan-like than the Polyman, and we're able to locate the studios here at Ion Channel far easier. Plus, you did the smart thing, like Mike Lubie Lubitz might, and did a little test run.
I did. Yesterday, I took a little ride out here. Your directions were very clear.
Pretty feeble, yeah.
Very clear.
There's a sign, and then you'll see, like, if a dog crosses the road, you're almost there.
Not this right, the next right, and if there's a lady with a blue hat, make a left instead. But I've ended up right.
It's like a Mark Lawrence trend.
When I walk in this building, it is magnificent. These folks here have done a great job right here.
Well, it was top-notch organization, Ion Channel, and we wouldn't want to be anywhere else except, of course, and it looks like we are there at beautiful Hialeah Park.
It's so real that I saw a flamingo passed, and I had to wipe something off Paul's shoulder right here. Might be good luck. Who knows?
I think Jack Scanaletta, is it a flock of, what are flamingos in? Are they in flocks? Because they've been outside here outside the studio door, and I think Jack's going to let a couple of them fly like he was Dennis Testa, and we're coming up on a feature race. Would they do that after the 7th race, Hialeah Park?
Yes, it's after the 7th.
I always said, boy, these are the smartest flamingos on earth. Right when the horse passes the finish line in the 7th place, like clockwork, they
take off.
They take off. Little did I know there was a guy with a cesta chasing them.
Throwing mackerel in there. Do they eat mackerel? That was the question of the day before. Of course, happy to be here, and also brought to you by Destination Sport Miami, many other fine people, Deal Volkswagen, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, Perdomo Cigars, and this is our first product placement.
There it is.
I believe on any of our shows. Although we had that Facebook Live thing going there for a little while. That was an experiment that looked like it was going to gain some traction. I forget why it came to an end. The guy said, "Hey, what? I'm not getting paid for this." No. Somehow that ended, and you had product placement in that also, Dave Gurgley.
Yes, and I thought the first product placement was the bug spray you had on the way to Lubie's wedding reception.
You needed like an AK-47 to shoot down some of those insects that were flying around Lubie, and it was interesting because that's an omen, right? I mean, if I had seen this sign, I never would have tied the knot, even though I've done it 3 times. And, it hasn't always worked out as well as I had hoped on my wedding day, but there were buzzards flying above the Lubie wedding there in Homestead. And they were looking ominously down on where the groom would be standing and saying things like, "Wah, wah, wah."
Well, if he can get through that, he can get through anything. So I think this is a good one for him.
All right, many things happening on the sporting scene, and we will be taking your telephone calls. You have a chance to win a Landlubbers gift certificate right here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on ION Channel. And if you're out of town, you can send it to somebody that lives in South Florida. But all you have to do is dial us up, and the number's right there on your screen if you're viewing the program, 888-363-4467, 888-363-4467. 4467. We have multiple phone lines in use right now, so we can use the usual procedures that we've had in the past. What is it now, Paulie, man? 25 years on the program?
Yep, 25. Quarter of a century, yep.
Quarter of a century. And, and you were inspired to do this many years ago with me when, as we've often said, and this is true, I found it to be true my whole life, desperation is the mother of invention.
Yes.
So here we are in front of the Hialeah Park Casino on the
Paul,
ION channel.
Remember, for 25 years, hold your wrist up towards the beer. Remember, for our 25th anniversary, the Defo gave us these watches.
Who needs to tell time? I mean, time is for guys in prison. That's about it. All right, so dial us up if you want to play, 888-363-4467. I know you're a diehard Yankee fan, but you're not a psychotic Yankee fan, and you're also not a Yankee fan that feels a sense of entitlement that every player should come to the Yankees. That's available on free agency. They were going to get Verlander, and that's a scratch. They probably thought they were going to get Syndergaard, but he ends up going to the Angels. Freddie Freeman is out there, but he's probably going to re-sign with the Braves. And then Carlos Correa seems to be the one guy that all circles, all factions agree might end up becoming a New York Yankee. Although he might have damaged his chances a little bit by saying that Derek Jeter
sucks. How can you say
well, he's
that?
not going to be a Marlin. We know that. That was probably a cash prohibitive thing. But, could you make it any worse for yourself if you were going to be a player from another out-of-town team that was going to come to New York and try and make your claim to fame? I don't know that you could have put any more of an onus on yourself to,
right.
Get off to just either a blazing star to make everybody forget. And cursing Derek Jeter's ability to play the field, that's absolute blasphemy in New York City.
Let's face it, at shortstop, Derek Jeter wasn't an Ozzie Smith, let's say. And then later in his career, they came with all these numbers that he moves 1.2 seconds slower than anyone else to his left. And I got to tell you what, the ball was hit to shortstop. It was an out. It was that simple. He got everything. It was solid, rock solid, never no big errors.
Ball wasn't going to be crawling up his arm there, and then he
got
gives a
everything.
stupid looks in his glove after and blames the Rawlings people and sues them. Wasn't like that.
Ground ball or shortstop, you were toast. It was that simple.
Deep in the hole, he had the jump throw, and then a very clever player, as evidenced by that play in the playoffs against the Oakland A's, when he dashes across the first base line near home plate and does a behind the back, like an Earl Monroe pass, and nails a guy at the plate that turned out to be, it was obviously a crucial run.
You remember me telling you, right? We mentioned this many times that we called one another when the Yankees were making a move in his first year, and I said, wow, this rookie is in the middle of everything.
Yes,
remember me
you
telling
said
you
he was the ultimate catalyst.
This rookie is like I said.
I think you said everything good that happens to the Yankees, this guy is a part of.
Yes.
So that was the story. So Carlos Correa opens up a big mouth. He's on some Hispanic podcast with another former ball player. And he says that Jeter didn't deserve any of the Gold Gloves, that this whole thing was a sham. Almost like the election steal. He was running around like Donald Trump saying Jeter was no good. He went on to say, though, and this part wasn't really reported that heavily, that the Bambino was a slap hitter who only benefited from the short right field porch, and that's why they put the thing out there at like 297. If the stick wasn't right there, he would have had like 6 home runs a year, and nobody would have ever heard of him. He also said that Lou Gehrig was in actuality fragile and was a hangnail away from ending the consecutive game streak after 62 games because he was such a crybaby. He wanted out of the lineup, and he even denounced the "I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth" speech, saying that what credibility did that have? For God's sake, the guy had cancer.
And I think he also said that Yogi Berra is easy to understand.
Yes,
yeah, so,
he said that New York pizza was no better than Papa John's.
I think the Yankees reading and everything that they got interest in Corey Seager from the Dodgers, then maybe he'll be able to move to third base in a year or two because they got two super duper shortstop prospects, that are supposedly the real deal. Anthony Volpe, and I believe the other guy is Waldo Peraza or something like that. But so maybe that's the move, and plus a lefty hitter also.
This guy won't be able to get on a Staten Island ferry and try and make his way to another borough.
Little questions now about that maybe his back has been hurting the last.
He also said that Carlos Beltran was a better drummer than John Goodvine Spano, and had much more of a musical message than anybody in the history of rock and roll. And then he denounced the New York Philharmonic, said Phil Linz made better music. Phil, harmonic, you get that?
Yeah, we get it.
All right. That was a weak attempt at humor. The special session is going on. Does anybody understand? And the people at Hialeah Park are going to be a part of this, and we can't wait to make these announcements. But does anybody understand? I thought that DeSantis was finally doing the right thing and calling a special session. Never mind these mandates and whether we should have them or not. Just go get the shot, right? That would be our attitude. But here we are, three fools on stools, a.k.a. the geezers at Caesars. And that's what I thought he was calling a special session for, to straighten out the gambling thing once and for all. And that they would all have a big party and turn the Capitol building there into a sports book and start making wagers, which also has become a very, very risky proposition. Not that it wasn't before, but I think even more so now. Because I don't know, Paulie, man, what are you hearing? You're like Adam Schefter when it comes to this sort of stuff. I mean, are the officials now being paid by FanDuel directly and influencing games in that fashion? Because it seems like, especially with this roughing the passer call, that, my God, how can you possibly think that these games are on the level at this point?
Yeah, it's so tough. Chalk held up there for weeks. I think Vegas was actually
that was just a tease to get everybody, roped in, right?
Now
it's like that first vial of cocaine is free.
Now it's fell back into the normal NFL. That it really is true any given Sunday, right? That I tell you what, some unbelievable upsets, and NFL is so tough to figure.
Or any given Thursday. Look at the Ravens-Dolphins game. I had 120 Ravens fans staying with us at Chula's Hotel, 3 busloads to go to the game, all retired firefighters, paramedics, wonderful people. And I had a golf tournament Friday, and I refused to give them rental sets because I was afraid they'd break their clubs after Thursday's game.
That was ugly and inexplicable, as was Jacksonville and the Bills, and then before that, Jets and Cincinnati. Now, the Jets and Dolphins play, and that used to be a big deal. And you would, I've been saying this all week long, you'd be able to flip open a microphone on a Monday. Lubie would say, yeah, you got a board full of calls. You got a board full of calls. You going to take them, or you're just going to talk all day? And you would open up the phone lines, and it would be one guy after another from one side or the other, almost on an equal basis, ripping either New York or South Florida, the Jets or the Dolphins. The most common line was, and this is not really true, but it's close to it, that the Jets' last big game was in 1969.
Wow.
I mean, is that the ultimate comeback, to any Jet fan? You had to deal with this, though, Gurgles. Did you not have Jet fans staying at Shula's?
Oh, yeah. By all means, the Jets fans stay with us. And in fairness to the Jets fans, when they get in those fights at the stadium, I think they're always started by Dolphin fans that throw something at the Jets fans. The Jets throw something back, and all the Dolphin fans, look, security, go get those guys. But the Jets fans, I got no problem with them at all. The only bad recollection is that big game in '69 is when my former boss, the late, great Don Shula, was on the losing end of that game.
Yes, that was an impossibility. But at the time, being a Jet fan and working at Shea that year, it was a magical season all the way around on many fronts. I thought, wow, 17.5 points. They can do this, and there were very few believers in the AFL back then. So, and a lot of people argue whether Joe Willie should be in the Hall of Fame just for being the catalyst. There you go again with your Derek Jeter. In the transition from, bringing about the merger to now having what the NFL is today, you would have to say that that was Hall of Fame worthy, just having won that game that really kind of turned people's minds around.
So if this guy can throw for 4,000 yards, if he can lead the Jets to that Super Bowl, if he can come out and say he guarantees it at the Miami Dolphins Touchdown Club luncheon, why do they have to put his words up when he's doing a Medicare commercial? I don't understand that. I understand it.
I don't think that's in regards to translation. I think it's for the fact that the people that are watching the commercial that might be inclined to call also can't hear. Right? Because they're kind of telling you that if you go ahead with this supplement. But now everybody's doing one of those Medicare supplement ads, right? Theismann, of course, horned in on one because he wasn't going to let that category go. And even George Foreman.
No kidding.
Who, actually looks younger than he did when he was involved, in the Rumble in the Jungle there. But George Foreman is now an advocate for one of these supplements, which I believe to be right in the same category, perhaps, as the reverse mortgage.
Except that with this new format, I think we'd be perfect candidates to have them across
we
the
look
bottom.
like we need some help.
Yes,
that's
why
for
not
sure.
us? We're the demographic. We all belong. I think this should be scrolled across the bottom. So if you're out there, Medicare companies, call us.
All right, and call us, too, if you want to play the game. We'll get that started here. 2 games on tap of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. 888-363-4467. 888-363-4467. If you want to play the game, you can dial us up right now and get on board there. Lubie's going to be taking your calls. He's kind of out of the picture here. OOP, my favorite designation in any racing program, out of picture at the dog races. And yet very much a factor on the show. And he'll be grabbing your telephone calls. You can dial us up, 888-363-4467. This is also tantamount because next Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I would imagine... I don't know that we got any official word on this from Jack Namer. Is he one of those guys that's inclined to have people working on Thanksgiving? No.
He doesn't seem like that, no.
It's a benevolent soul. Take Thursday off, take Friday off, too. That's going to be great. So we'll have a couple of special events, I guess, coming up next week. So this is, in essence, our Thanksgiving Day special. And, Gurgles, I know you wanted to address this
yes.
as... you're who doesn't like Thanksgiving, right? Of all the holidays, it happens to be my personal favorite.
Right, and just on a side note, when my mother, and I know you lost your mom too, when my mother was alive, I remember going up to surprise her in Allentown, Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving. But I'm one of these wise guys. I know that Wednesday is the busiest travel day before Thanksgiving, so I decided to fly out Thanksgiving morning. I'm the smartest guy in the world. No traffic, get to Fort Lauderdale Airport, beautiful. No parking. But I made it work. But now, for all of our listeners, and this is your perfect demographic, these are the 7 reasons that you would call it a degenerate Thanksgiving Day. Number 1, you bet on who of your 45-year-old ex-high school buddies will be the first to pull a hamstring on the football game you play every Thanksgiving morning. Number 2, you take the under in a battle with your 80-year-old grandmother on the wishbone break, and she wins. Number 3, in the Macy's Day Parade on your degenerate Thanksgiving, you lay odds that the Bullwinkle balloon would be the first to blow away. Number 4, you take the under on which quarter of the 4 o'clock game your uncle unbuttons his pants. Number 5, on Thanksgiving night, on degenerate Thanksgiving, while watching It's a Wonderful Life for the umpteenth time, you bet on what Mr. Potter did with the $8,000 that Uncle Billy lost at the bank. Number 6, your uncle plays a video of the 1973 Belmont Stakes and you backwheel Secretariat. Number 7, you start a pool to see which of the 8 female relatives say, let's go to Walmart for the 10 p.m. opening. And those are your degenerate ones. And this one I forgot. You sit down with your 5-year-old niece and lose $20 to her while playing Candy Crush on her phone. So those are some degenerate things on Thanksgiving Day you can celebrate next week.
I guess we're going to dodge this one, too, Thanksgiving tradition. It's actually the day after, and that would be Black Friday. Where, and it's always just a shame. I mean, it's odd that this happens every year somewhere in New York City when they open up the Best Buy or one of these electronics stores. Some poor schmank that just wanted to make an extra $15 an hour for the holidays so he could buy his kid some kind of video game gets mowed down by the mob that comes in because they open the doors, and it's just like I wish you had been with me at that Pepino Cuevas fight when they busted down the doors there at the Olympic Auditorium and stormed the place, and guys were getting trampled like they were at this concert, right? But it's always some poor schmo, right? The story, it's never the store owner. They just throw a guy out there, very much like in one of your favorite movies, Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. He always had another guy who would go, okay, Joe, you go out there first. Right? And that guy would get...
That is not one of my favorite movies.
You would get smacked in the face by a spiked steel ball, blood spurting out all over the place, and then Crow would hop out there and go, ta-da! Take that, Caesar. Stick it right up that lion's rear end. I don't have a problem with that. I'll fight him off with my fists. No problem whatsoever. All right, Polyman, whose birthday is it? Is this what you wrote down on the sheet here? Birthday gift?
No,
What is that?
had some gentlemen that I know. They were met them at I think Hialeah years ago and everything.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, much younger than me, but they were talking about the maddest their wives ever got at them. And, one was trying to, you could probably fit right in there with some stories. But this was a pretty funny story, and this was recent, maybe 10 years ago, 8, 9 years ago. The one gentleman was saying that that their song, him and his wife's song, was John Legend, all of me loves all of you.
Right.
Yeah. So he tells someone that he set up this big thing that he's going to have someone sing the song to his wife. Don't say nothing. So the other guy tells his wife, but lost in translation, he tells the wife that John Legend himself is going to sing the song.
Boy.
So what happens? The wife can't hold it in, goes to the other guy's wife, whose party it is,
right,
and says, "I swear to secrecy. I don't want to blow your party to surprise and everything, but it's too exciting. I don't want you to faint. John Legend is coming to sing all your song, All of Me." And he said, "How could?"
Which I hear he'll do that, and he does bar mitzvahs also. This guy.
And so how could this be? Well, maybe your husband got more connections than you think, and this and that. So she was so excited. So they went there, and part of the joke was they brought what is it called? A little person?
Yeah. Yes.
Diminutive person, yeah.
A midget?
Yeah, you could say
little
that.
person.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's
a little,
probably in poor
little
taste.
person who was just
challenged.
like Pinky Lee or
well, would midget wrestlers
or
even
Luke
be
Costello,
acceptable
yes.
today? I don't think so.
But that's who came out and sang the song, part of a gag, so the wife didn't like it because she was really expecting
John Legend.
Right. So she threw the whole pot of rigatoni and broccoli at the husband and actually led to divorce.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that might be a favorable move then, to go ahead and convince your wife that John Legend was coming over.
It's one thing, John
Rumor
Legend.
has it she ran away with the midget then.
Before he made it big, though, he was doing these kind of gigs because I remember I was emceeing an event that Chris Visser set me up with at the Wellington Polo Club, whatever that is. They were having a polo match there that day, and then they were having some kind of charity auction, and John Legend, I don't know what they had to pay this guy to come out there, came out there and sang like 2 songs.
Is this serious? Yeah.
Yes,
wow.
yes. This is probably circa 20 years ago, but I don't know. He was already kind of a known commodity, and I'm thinking, what is this schlep doing? He's coming out here to do like Sweet 16s, Kinsey parties. I mean, I would imagine there was plenty of capital to pay this guy whatever his fee was from the polo club there at Wellington. Now, would you like another Chardonnay here, Paulie, man? But, no, then it became huge after that, right? I mean, there's nothing that John Legend is not a part of at this point.
By the way, I suppose if they use the number to get in the show, 1-888-363-4467, if they want us to do something like that, one of us would do it.
Oh, no, we'd be happy to record a phone message for you or whatever it is. I mean, we definitely need the capital here, although I'm going to walk inside the Hialeah Park Casino when it opens up at 9 o'clock and the show's finished, and try and make myself a score.
Why not?
Orchestrated by Steve Calabro. All right, the product placement is brilliant. Dave Gurgles Gurgley, how long have you been endorsing Perdomo cigars? And you're not just one of these guys that does the endorsement and then just throws a box of cigars at somebody else. You're an avid smoker of Perdomo cigars.
Perdomo cigars at 5150 Northwest 167th Street. It has been 25 years with Nick as well. Back in, 96 or something like that, we had a humidor right in Shula's Steak 2. It was called the All-Star Cafe back then, before they changed some of the laws anyway. And Perdomo came in and he said, "Those are my cigars." I said, "Listen, I can tell people about it on the radio." He said, "What about it?" I told them all about it, and now they're really thrilled with us being on Ion Channel, so we can do things like this. You can be thrilled, too, by going there at 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto, just a little bit east of the Home Depot on the south side of the street. You'll see the big Nick Cigar and Perdomo Cigar sign. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go in there. Lauren, Nick's son, Nick Jr., is now the hostess right there. It's a 4th generation of making these Cuban seed tobacco cigars grown in Nicaragua as perfect as they are. So you can get them Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They'll be closed Thanksgiving Day, but open Black Friday. Just stay away from that Branch Mart traffic on that same road there. And if you want to get one when they're not open, not a problem. Any tobacconists near you worth their salt will have them. Go online to www.perdomocigars.com. This right here is the 10th anniversary champagne. A really beautiful smoke. Whether you want a Connecticut, Maduro wrapper, whatever you want, they make them perfect at a time. Put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars. And I'll get in touch with Lubie maybe tomorrow and give a Perdomo cigar for the weekend.
That'd be great,
Horse for the weekend.
A horse of the day. Yeah, that'd be great. And now the thing is, I thought you were going to give away a cigar as part of the thing. It would be like a Red Auerbach victory cigar. You could light it up if you win the game. So jump on board. We'll get game number 1 started. We'll have 2 games of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge as we come to you from what appears to be right outside the casino doors here at beautiful Hialeah Park. 888-363-4467. The doors open up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and people are winning jackpots. There's nothing better. Did you ever? Yeah, you probably did many times in your lifetime, Paulie, man. Make a late score before the holidays at some parimutuel facility, right? There was nothing better. I remember when Silent Night won the finale on Christmas Eve at Calder Racecourse one year, and there wasn't any. The horse should have been 60-1, went off 2-1, and jogged. And you're thinking, there are always 2 ominous signs from the gods of gambling around the holidays that if you know how to read them, you can benefit.
One of my biggest scores was actually when a Calder was running on Christmas Day years ago, and I was living on the west coast of Florida at the time, and I called, and the operator told me that Naples-Fort Myers was closed. So I drove all the way across the state because I had a horse to Palm Beach Kennel Club. And thank God the horse won after that long ride and everything. And then I came back and found that Naples-Fort Myers was open. It was open. So thank God it won, and it was the last race of the day. I remember early in the day I needed to win a place photo. The horse was ridden by Rosie Homeister Jr.
Yeah.
Then to get me to keep me going. So that was one of the biggest scores I ever made. But speaking of the holidays, we talked about maybe 100 times on the show, if you remember. Of course, Argentine Tango was the day after Christmas.
Oh wow.
That was an awful, why do you have to bring up an awful reminder like that before the holidays here in 2021? All right, dial us up if you want to play. I do remember the last birthday gift I gave of any significance kind of, I don't want to say it blew up in my face because let's face it, I mean, happiness is a relative term, but I bought a ring off the Jaybird. Had to go into some neighborhood that was not necessarily a place that you would normally want to frequent, and we found a guy who knew a guy who could get me a piece of jewelry for like $1,000. So I mean, instead of going to one of those places, they have these stores where you can get who is it? The Jane Seymour? Is she the one that's like 100 years old but looks like she's 35, and she's always selling that? They couldn't complete whatever it was, whatever jeweler she was working with, so they call it the open heart.
Yes.
And she's selling that. It's like a dime a pop, man. I don't know what it has in it, cubic zirconium or what. I don't want to denounce it, but you can go to one of these stores, and which I'm not inclined to go to any stores anyway, and buy one of these for a dime, or you could go see a character like the Jaybird, and he made some, I would have to say, very favorable jewelry deals for me over the years, right? Where, what's the first move you make after a friend tells you got you, a great deal on a piece of jewelry, a diamond or something? You go have it appraised right away, and you're figuring, how badly did this guy short me? But anyway, so he had an assortment of things, none of which really, were anything that I really wanted to get. I mean, he had like a bracelet, I already got her one of those. He had a necklace, I already got her one of those. So earrings, I got her one of those. So all he had that was really good was a ring. And I was meaning to give this as a birthday gift, but naturally I knew as soon as she opened it up, that was it.
Uh-oh.
And we were like married the next day. And I would have to say, well, we're still married.
All right.
Very, very happily so, Polyman, as you know, and Gurgles, often
I
high praise for the
that
Mustang.
Was a beautiful ring too.
Very nice, and worth more than I paid for it, I believe, to this day, which, was not always necessarily going to be the case. And jewelry deals might be worse than drug deals, no? I mean, what would you say? You can really get hosed. I don't know if you've ever gotten taken to the cleaners on a jewelry deal, only to find out that, you bought like a 25-cent piece of jewelry for like 2,500.
Right.
But, no, and I know nothing about it. So, it was very good, the instincts of the Jaybird, but, years later, that thing probably cost me about $500,000. It would take almost that to get out, that's for sure. All right, dial us up if you want to play. We'll have game number 1 started. No, I love you, Mustang. You're the greatest. 888-363-4467. Lubie's taking your telephone calls. You can line up here on Ion Channel. Glad you guys are catching us in front of the Hialeah Park Casino. It is absolutely a thing of beauty, and the symmetry, the merging. I mean, this is almost, something, a matter of the occult, how they were able to completely put in perfect symmetry the old Hialeah Park and the new Hialeah Park and have it just be a seamless blend of history and present and future. Just a great job by the people at Hialeah Park, one of the great casinos anywhere in the country, and soon to have, if we can figure this out, sports wagering.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's coming soon here to Hialeah Park as well. All right, we're coming back with game number 1 of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge here on Ion Channel. We have Dave Gurgles Gurgley. I told you he was a natural for this, yes. Right? I mean, the green screen and thing. The polyman, Paul Massell. He of the television here. I'm Jeff DeForest. Lubie's at the controls taking your calls. 888-363-4467 here on Ion Channel. Back with game number 1. This week's the special Thanksgiving edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill is a place that has had my heart since childhood. Known for their world-famous wings with unimaginable flavor combinations and made-from-scratch sauces, both the Plantation location and Coconut Creek location are open for you to take a seat and grab some of your all-time favorites. These are the Plantation location's hours and specials from 3:30 to 10 p.m. daily, available for you every day of the week. From Thursdays, half-pound cheeseburgers and fries for $7.99 to full racks of ribs with fries and coleslaw, Fridays for $14.75. Seafood lovers, Fridays also give you either fried shrimp and 2 sides, or fish and chips with Love's famous tartar sauce for just $10.50. No matter the day of the week, they always have you covered. If you're on the run or just hanging out, Landlubbers takes care of you with pickup and free delivery. Just head over to landlubbersbarandgrill.com. Take a look at the menu, and they'll take care of the rest. Landlubbers also has amazing drink specials daily. Come on by to Landlubbers, or just take great care of those in your life and make them have a huge smile by going to landlubbersbarandgrill.com and grab them some delicious food. Whatever life throws at us, one constant we can all count on is Landlubbers, where they always make you feel right at home.